Hi there, I'm Kathy Dawson. I'm one of the tutors at Seeds of Literacy, and today's lesson is about subject-verb agreement. So the general rule is that in a sentence, a singular subject takes a singular verb and a plural subject takes a plural verb. There's another rule that we'll get to later, but for right now, we're just going to focus on the singular verb, singular subject, and the singular verb. So the examples I have here on the page, this has to do with present tense verbs. So an example would be John is an English teacher. Singular subject John and singular verb is. You wouldn't say John are an English teacher, right? Because the are is a plural verb. So here are here's an example of the are. John's parents are visiting this week. Okay, so that's John's parents, plural, are plural verb. So some examples, and I will give you the answer because there's no one on right now. But number one, would you say this is Janice is one of my best friends or Janice are one of my best friends? I think you know the answer to this. So the answer is Janice is one of my best friends because it's a singular subject with a singular verb. Next one, the trees in our backyard is or are growing quickly. Plural subject, so we got are is the plural verb. Okay, next one. They is planning to visit next February, or they are planning to visit next February. This one is plural, so it's a plural verb. They are planning to visit next February. We have two sets of twins in our family, and they is fun to play games with, or they are fun to play games with. They are fun to play games with because they is a plural, more than one person subject, and are is a plural verb. Number 5, Christopher, my neighbor's son, is mowing our lawn this summer. Or Christopher, my neighbor's son, are mowing our lawn this summer. It is because Christopher is one person, and that is a singular subject. So that goes with is, which is a singular verb. And the second to last, spending time with Seeds of Literacy is a good use of my time. Or spending time with Seeds of Literacy are a good use of my time. So Seeds of Literacy is the singular subject. So you're going to use the singular verb is. Last one here, Mike and Lisa is getting married in September, and I know they want the virus to be over by then. So Mike and Lisa, two people, gets a plural verb because it's a plural subject. And then I know they, now this we're going to talk about later. This is a case where they is a plural pronoun, and you're going to use a singular verb, even though it's more than one person. This is another exception. This is an exception to the rule, which we'll talk about at the second half of this session. So I kind of threw in a wrench there for you. Okay, now the verbs I used first were present tense. Now we're going to talk a little bit about past tense verbs. So we're going to talk about was, which is the singular past tense verb, or were, which is the plural past tense verb. So number 1, she and her dog was or were waiting outside of the store for too long. So she and her dog, two subjects, right? Plural subject. So you got to have a plural verb. So it would be were waiting outside of the store for too long. Number 2, the book, singular subject, would be was left on the table in the library. So you wouldn't say the book were left on the table because were is a plural verb, and in this case you need a singular verb. Okay. Number 3, is the rocking chairs was or were broken, and the carpenters was or were intending to fix them. So here in this sentence, you have two plural subjects, rocking chairs and carpenters. So that means you have to use the plural verb. So for both of them, it's the verb were. Were broken and were intending to fix. Okay. Number 4, the television, radio, and social media ads was or were the best ways for the company to advertise. So these are 3 different things, right? 3 different ways of types of media, television, radio, and social media. So it's got to be a plural verb because it's more than one thing, one subject. Okay. Number 5, banks was hesitant to loan money to the couple who wanted to buy such a large house, or banks were hesitant to loan money to the couple who wanted to buy such a large house. So it's plural. Banks is plural, so you use the plural verb, were. Okay. Now we're going to move to another verb that's present tense, have or has. So this is the example, the mail carrier have or has 123, whoops, that's supposed to say houses, on his route. So the mail carrier is singular, one person. So you would use has, which is the plural, singular past tense verb. The recreation center have or has a pool, and the members user uses it frequently. Now here we've got 2 different ones in the same sentence. So the recreation center is one subject, so you get a singular verb, which is has. So the recreation center has a pool, and the members, plural, use it frequently. So this is a example of plural subject and a singular verb. The candidates for city council have a lot of work to do before the election. So candidates is plural, so you want to use the plural verb, which is have, a lot of work to do before the election. The audience, now this one's tricky. The audience have been waiting for 30 minutes for the show to begin, or the audience has been waiting for 30 minutes for the show to begin. Even though an audience is more than one person in the group, it's still a group. So it's counted as a singular subject. So then you use a singular verb. Okay, the audience has been waiting for 30 minutes for the show to begin. The bicycles have or has bells, lights, and water bottle holders attached to them. So more than one bicycle is plural, so then you use the plural have rather than has. Okay, we are now moving on from present tense to past tense. So we're going to talk about the verbs was and were. So she and her dog either was or were waiting outside of the store for too long. 2 subjects, right? 2 things in the sentence. So it is a plural verb. So she and her dog were waiting outside of the store for too long. The book was or were left on the table in the library. One subject, book, singular verb, was. Okay. The rocking chairs were or was broken, and the carpenters was or were intending to fix them. I feel like I already said this one before, but whatever. Okay. The rocking chairs, 2 things, so it's plural. So you use the plural were in the past tense, broken, and the carpenters, again, plural, So you use the plural past tense verb of were with intending. Okay. Oh, you know what? I did do this. I copied this twice. Okay, we went over this already, so you're getting it twice. You'll really learn the lesson. All right. I thought these sounded familiar. I was copying and pasting while I was making this, and I forgot to get rid of it. All right, this is another rule. Examples of singular subjects using a plural verb. We just talked about singular subjects using a singular verb and plural subjects using a plural verb. There are times where you have singular subjects using a plural verb and plural subjects using a singular verb. Okay, so here's some examples. School usually, now school is singular, but in this case, we're going to use a plural verb. So school usually starts in September, but it may not start until later. You wouldn't say school usually start in September. School, singular, subject, usually starts, plural verb. Next one, all of us enjoy or enjoys ice cream during the summer. So all of us enjoy, now I hope I'm right on this, all of us enjoy ice cream because, here you let me know if I'm wrong. All of us enjoy ice cream because all of us, even if it's more than one, it's still a singular group. It's kind of like audience, like what we talked about before. Number 3, did I? Yes? Okay, I thought so. Thank you. Number 3, James goes to church on Wednesday while his parents go or goes to church on Sunday. So James is singular. So in this case, it's goes to church on Wednesday while his parents, even though it's a plural subject, it's a singular verb, go to church on Sunday. You know, this is one of those things makes no sense based on the first thing that I told you, but in English, there's almost an exception to every rule. So it's one of these things you just have to get used to using it and memorizing it. Patty plays or play the flute, and her sisters plays or play the piano. So Patty's a singular subject, and she's going to use a plural verb. Patty plays the flute. And her sisters play because it's plural, and they, more than one, play the piano. Number 5, how many of you want or wants to volunteer to help at the football game? So it's how many of you, meaning more than one person, want to volunteer. So that's why it's singular. Okay. Number 6, who had or did I? Okay. Who had or has the last piece of cake? That one is kind of a trick question. You can use either one of those, okay? Either past or present. So I'm leaving that the way it is. Number 7, how many people run or runs the race next weekend? How many people run the race next weekend? Okay, because it's people, more than one. So it's a singular verb. Bella much prefers or prefer to drive than fly. Bella much, singular subject. You need a plural verb in this case. So it's prefers to drive than fly. 9, they put or puts a claim into the insurance company after they lost the expensive piece of jewelry. So they put, even though they is more than one in this case, it's plural subject with a singular verb. And the last one, the cheerleaders yell the cheers up to the people in the stands. So cheerleaders are more than one. This is a plural subject where you're using a singular verb. Okay. So what we've got here, what we talked about today is when you're using singular subject and singular verb, plural subject and plural verb, but sometimes a singular subject takes a plural verb and a plural subject takes a singular verb. It's a little confusing. It's just getting used to reading, getting used to knowing the grammatical rule, and you're just going to, through osmosis, we're just doing it more and more. It's just going to feel natural to you. So hopefully, if you haven't already known this, this is an introduction to it. You probably have figured it out on your own through reading, because it just makes more sense when you read it this way, but it never hurts to go over it again. So I hope this is helpful. I'll see